So, this challenge might be pretty tough. Hey guys, welcome. Today is our very first week of the Overwatch Season 3 Tank Climb Challenge recap. I have all of the data here to come with it, and we're going to go over my progress. But first, I wanted to open with something else. My thoughts on this challenge before I even had to play a game was that this was going to be a smooth journey of climbing and learning, but I'll tell you right now that was not the case. My open statement on this video is, wow, this kind of sucks. So we're going to start this video off with just going over some of the data points first. We're going to start with wins and losses. That's probably the most sought after data you're probably looking for, right? So how did we do? For wins, we had 22. 22 wins. We played 46 total games. And if you can do the math, if you've done the quick maths, that means for losses we had 24. And that would be about a 48% win rate, which is exactly the same as the intro video and the mantra of last season while we were playing ranked. So how about my rank? Since we lost a couple more than we won, we started week 1 as a gold 1 tank. And drumroll please, we ended week 1 as a gold 1 tank. It didn't move. It didn't move. And actually, fun fact, it actually went down. I started the week at around 80-ish%, and one win put me into plat 5. So I was like, wow, I'm going to be gold for like no time at all. Yeah, that was a lie. Because now I'm back, and I'm actually down into 37% gold 1. So let's break down the wins and the losses and ranks just a little bit more. For our wins and losses, my best days were Tuesday and Sunday, with 6-2 and 8-2 respectively. Thursday was my absolute worst day, going 0-5, and both Friday and Monday we ended up going 1-4. So yes, I'm writing this after going 1-4. And I dropped from plat 5 into gold 1 just moments ago. So does it hurt? Yes, it hurts. It hurts quite a bit, actually. As for the rank, we know where I ended in gold 1, but my peak was actually plat 4. So I actually went up 2 whole divisions, and obviously since day 3, I haven't seen that since. So my low was also gold 2. Really close to gold 3. But Sunday's spree again got me out of that. I am going to keep some tabs on this day by day data. Not really sure what I'm going to do with it yet, just because we only have 1 week of sample, but I do think it'd be interesting to see if there's specific days that when I play I do worse or better. I think that just got kind of a funny stat. More than likely going to be very happenstance. More than likely it probably will not track in any way, shape, or form, but fun stat to track regardless, because maybe then I just know that there's a specific day I shouldn't even touch the game of Overwatch. Now to the maps. For this segment, I got you guys a little graph, and it's actually the graph that's on my laptop right here behind me. Most of the maps in my 46 games were actually pretty diverse for the most part. A lot of 2 and 3 times that a lot of maps were played. So, 1, 2 to 3 is kind of the sweet spot. And so it was really nice to see that there was a lot of diversity. There wasn't actually like one specific or 2 specific maps that really just were dominant in choices. But the 2 biggest picks were actually Kings Row with 5 picks and Neon Junction with 4 picks out of my 46 games. So a classic and a new map, pretty awesome. I enjoyed both of playing both of those maps, so it was actually pretty fun. But I can tell you that the map type choice was a lot more telling. When I literally tell you I don't remember playing Flashpoint, I don't remember playing Flashpoint. But for some reason, I played more Flashpoint than Push. I mean, I literally played Push one time. It's this tiny little pink thing, and you can barely even see it. You can see it on the screen a little bit better. But I guess I'm just weird for liking Push. It reminds me of an old Call of Duty Advanced Warfare map, or not map, but game mode type, which was called Momentum. And so you would cap points in a row until either someone capped the most points or time ran out. But I enjoy it, kind of. But for the most part, hybrid and escort maps were basically the top dog 15 and 16 times, as well as control being right behind that. And then the really big outliers, obviously, Flashpoint, which I hate, and then Push, which I actually kind of love, which actually did worse. So I guess maybe I'm going to start voting for Push a little bit more when I see it. Now, let's probably take a look at the more than likely sought after data in my gold/plat lobbies, the bans. I also got you a nice graph, and that graph is displayed up behind me, but it is also displayed on your screen, except not yet, because I want to leave you in some suspense. I did track every single ban from every single game, but I'm only going to show you the heroes that were banned 5 times or more. I feel like anything less than 5 was maybe just kind of a one-off situation where one player just had some beef from the last map and just it just got him banned. But for the data, I'll track everything over the season just to see how many times each hero does actually get banned in totality. But as for these week recaps, I'm probably just going to do the everything from 5 and up. Here is the graph. As you can see, Zarya got banned a whopping 25 times. Zarya got banned more than I won, which is hilarious. 57% of the time, she was banned. That just seems crazy. But some other notables being Sierra, still getting the boot, and Roadhog, Sombra, and Ana following suit. I primarily banned Roadhog, Ana, and Orisa, with my choices because I absolutely hate playing against Roadhog. He might not be overpowered or anything, but I truly hate playing against him. It's just a simple fact. Ana, because getting purpled and slept 800 plus times per match equals a lot of fun being a tank. It's not a lot of fun at all, trust me. But when I moved to Domina, I basically only banned Roadhog and Ana. I didn't really ban anybody else because I felt like I could beat the rest of the cast. Actually, what did I play the most? Lucky for you, I've got another graph. To give you context, I'm really only going to track the top 8 of the heroes that I did pick, or how many times they made an appearance per match, because it seems like anything more than that is kind of ridiculous, because some of them I really only picked one time. And a lot of the times, those ones that I just picked barely were simple, very specific picks for very specific situations that the team maybe wanted or that I thought might work better. So it wasn't really me picking that character and really developing the character. It was mostly just out of necessity. Reinhardt, by and large, took the cake. Took the absolute cake. 30 appearances out of 46 games. So in 30 games, I tracked them once. So as if they popped up in the map and I played them for a decent amount of time, that's when I tracked them. So I actually played Reinhardt at least 30 of the games, which was pretty telling. But I mean, glad that I picked the character. And his win rate was actually a 59% win rate. So I was actually doing extremely well with him. And on the days that I was winning with him. My next up was Sigma, and I'm going to be really honest here. My win rate with Sigma was a 29%. Real bad. I felt like a lot of the times when I played Sigma, I just wasn't on my game, or I was actually getting diffed by another Sigma, and it wasn't very fun. I'm actually going to stop playing Sigma. I think that's maybe one of the learning lessons today, is that for week 2, we're not going to touch Sigma and see how things go. But my other tank with an actual winning record was Domina. I did switch to Domina basically the last two or so days. I was basically picking Domina. I stopped playing Sigma, but Domina and Reinhardt. And so I was actually picking Domina more to start games. And then if I felt like I could switch to Orion, I would. Or if I was starting defense, I started with Domina. But I did, with Domina, end up with a 69% win rate. Nice. So I think I'm going to dive into Rhine and Domina a little bit more for this week too. I think that's kind of that's kind of coming up. And then I definitely want to find a dive tank that I can utilize as well, extremely well. I think that's one of the things that I also need to do. That way I've got a Reinhardt Rush established, I've got a Domina Poke, and then I would have a third character that would do the diving if need be, and something that I'd be comfortable with. Now that's most of the data out of the way for you, so we've kind of covered everything for the most part. There's a couple statistics in there that I didn't include in this video because I'm not sure I really tracked them well enough, or I don't think I really captured what I wanted to capture, so I think I'm going to be a little bit better about that in week 2. So that was the expected, reversal, consolation, and uphill battle. I don't exactly know how I'm going to incorporate that into a data piece to present to you. However, I do want to somewhat track it in some way. I also started focusing kind of middle of the week, and I kind of stopped because I realized it might have just been too late for the data of week 1 to even present it, but was the rankings divisions. So the most divisions between a match. So say a match is a gold 1 to a gold 2 match. That'd be one division. It's just literally, or I guess it'd be 2 divisions, but it's within one division. So if it was, a gold 3 to a gold 1, then that would be within 2 divisions of how the match was. And so I think that'd be a cool stat just to include, just to see how varying my divisions are. But if there are any other stats that you want to see, I can definitely add them. It will probably end up being in week 3. It won't be in week 2 just because I'll already be well on my way of editing week 2 already. But if you want to include anything, or you think there's a stat that would be interesting to track so going forward, let me know. Throw that in the comments. So we know that I didn't do hot in week 1. Why is that? I think the main factor here is that I just simply didn't have enough time playing tank. Last season, when I showed you in the intro video, and if you haven't seen that, you can jump back and check that out. But, I ended gold 1, but I really didn't have that many games playing tank, to be totally honest with you. It was very minimal in terms of where I played tank. So I think I forgot how to play tank a little bit. And because of that, on day 3, where I went 0-5 and basically lost all of the progress that I had made, I really felt like I was out of my element. And I really felt like I was in a rank that I didn't belong in. It felt like almost like I was, a gold player playing in a diamond slash grandmaster, masters grandmaster lobby. Like, it felt so different on day 3, on that Thursday, that I literally didn't know what to do. I just felt hopeless. And I think that's just going to come with me trying to learn tank a little bit more. I think like I said, I lost touch with it a little bit. So trying to get back, figuring out what works, what doesn't, what I need to work on and take with me to the next game. I think that's kind of where I'm really at right now. And it's just going to take a couple of weeks. Hopes are still high that I do well, but it's going to probably take another week or 2 for me to really settle in and start to actually climb. But it isn't all bad. What did I actually learn? I learned a lot from week 1. One, in general, is don't be afraid to swap. I think a lot of the times when I was playing, I ended up staying on a character for just a little bit too long. I ended up getting countered quite a few times, and some of those games I still won, and some of those games I lost, but it really just kind of depended on the quality of the counter that was pushed against me. So when a Bastion came onto the field, if it was a good Bastion, guy with really good aim, I was probably getting melted. But if it was a guy that really wasn't hitting his shots all game, it wasn't actually that bad because my shield really wasn't taking that much damage. And when it was down, I wasn't either. But I think I was so afraid to swap my character and kind of invoke Counterwatch that I kind of stayed just a little bit too long on a losing situation. Another thing that I learned was that the peel is real if done in the right way. I remember one match I noticed that one of my DPS was doing extremely poor, and I was trying to figure out why that was, because obviously, there could be a situation where this person was feeding and their position was terrible, but it really didn't seem like that. They were always kind of behind me dying. So I took stock of that and turned around and saw that he was just getting melted by an Onron just flying around the back line, killing him and then leaving. So I decided, you know what, maybe peel for that. And the second half of that game, they did so much better. Like they actually almost became the best DPS in the lobby because I simply turned around and smacked the on-run a couple of times. I mean, he wasn't getting all of the shots he needed, but he was still getting some or most. So just that extra swing, just that extra fire strike, just that extra blast from Domina's beam rifle, it worked. It got me, it got them a little bit better. And so I think in some games where I kind of realize that, you know, there's a character on this enemy team that I need to also kind of worry about just because they are going to fry my backline. And but there were again some other games where no matter what I did, it was impossible to figure that out because one, either a swap wasn't happening, which one of the games I had a widow that refused to swap while being jumped on by a monkey 15 plus times. Just not something you can really try to, like, no matter what I did, I couldn't save the widow. But I did learn that the peel is real if done in the right way. Like I just mentioned, some games were basically a loss from the start. And I don't know if that was simply just because of a mindset. And this was a very small percentage of games, I will add. It wasn't like every loss was, oh, unwinnable, can't win this game. There were a lot of close games that we just lost, and it was purely based off of one mistake. One mistake in overtime, one missed shatter, one missed pin. Like, it just kind of came together with there was maybe just one team fight that I could have won that I lost. But there were, like I say, a small percentage of games that just were unavoidable. It was a loss regardless of what I did. There were just some issues or factors that were never cleaned up, and we just lost straight out. And another thing that I learned, or the last thing that I really learned from this week, was don't skip the warm up. The warm up was extremely good for me. I think on day 3, I warmed up one game and I played Pharah. I did nothing that would have actually prepared me for a ranked match. Jumped right into rank. Obviously, you know the story. I lost 5 in a row. So I learned that, you know, practice games in the quick play version are going to be very beneficial for me to actually do well in this challenge. So, what are my final thoughts? I really thought I was going to do better in this challenge to begin with. And at the start of it, it looked like it was. I was 10-5 on some sort of high up 2 divisions. It felt great. And it all came crashing down. I still have high hopes that I can compete at a higher level from what I am competing at. But like I said before, it's probably going to take a week or two for me to really get into the groove. I really only did play about 9 hours of ranked this week. And I feel like that might be potentially a little bit low. Obviously, it's only tracking in-game time, so it doesn't, you know, track, you know, me just waiting in queue, in bans, in map picks. But 9 hours does seem a little low, and so I really want to try to push myself to get a little bit more in the weeks to come, and so that hopefully I can maybe get at least over 10 hours for sure in the 5v5 ranked, but potentially pushing 11, 12. I think that'd be good. I do have an actual life, so playing that much is kind of difficult sometimes. This week was also a little bit different because on Sunday or on Friday, after the 1 and 4 or the 2 and 3 performance, a 1 and 4 performance, and then a Saturday 1 and 4 as well, I was feeling really, really down, and so I ended up playing quick play for like 5 hours straight. I think I played like 10, 15, 20 games even of quick play just trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. So that could also be an issue where I, you know, spent a lot of time actually playing outside of the ranked environment because I was having some issues. So yes, a little frustrated, a little down on the fact that I didn't do so hot and I kind of stayed exactly where I was, but hopes are still high. I think as long as I continue to play and I continue to do well, I think that eventually things will start to look up. I'll start to carry games a little bit more. I'll realize that maybe this rank is a little bit easy. So it's just going to come with time. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. This journey is only going to get better and better, if not by my play, then by the data points themselves. I think we're going to amass a large amount of data points for a entire season of ranked, and I think it's going to be very interesting once we get later in the season to see really where the bans are occurring, where the map picks are going, and I think it'll be really, really interesting at the very end of this. And if you are not a gold and plat player, say you're a bronze, silver player, or you're diamond and higher, this would honestly be a pretty good series to see where the gold and plat players put all their stock into, bans and map picks and how I perform. So I think it's interesting for the outsiders looking in as well to see what this rank is really like. That is going to do it for the week 1 episode, the week 1 recap. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do what you gotta, and I'll see you in the next one.